The countdown to 2024 has officially begun and we are on the cusp of another new year. I cannot believe that the year is almost over, but here we are, we're about to jump into 2024. I know for so many of us, you're thinking, okay, now's the time for me to finally get my finances in order. Well, you've come to the right place, because in today's video, I'm going to be sharing tips on how you can financially reset for the new year and get yourself in the best position to win with your finances in 2024. The first thing you want to do is do a review of your finances for 2023. Look back over how the year has been and how it's gone for you when it comes to your money, and are you happy and okay with how it's been? Look at your budget from January to December. Where has all your money gone? Look at your expenses, look at your bank statements, review everything when it comes to your finances and look at the big picture, how much you spent and where over the course of the last 12 months, and start thinking about how you want things to be different in 2024. Look at the financial goals that you set at the start of 2023. Where are you now when it relates to those goals? Are you okay with how far you've come and the progress you've made? Or is there a lot more work that needs to be done in 2024? It's okay either way what the answer to that question is. You just need to be intentional about how you pursue your finances in the new year. Do not be too hard on yourself though when you're reflecting on your finances for the last year. Give yourself the credit you deserve for how far you've come and the fact that you've even been able to survive another year financially. This cost of living crisis in 2023 has been a lot of things, so just the fact that you're still able to be standing and still living and breathing and still thinking about how to be intentional with your finances in the new year, that is good enough. But let's not stop there. Let's be intentional about our financial pursuits for 2024, how we're going to show up differently when it comes to our money matters, and how we're going to ensure that we smash it when it comes to our financial goals for the new year. The next thing you want to do is set yourself some clear financial goals for 2024. Now that you've looked at the goals that you had for 2023 and you've reflected on how well and not so well some of them have gone, now you really want to set some really smart and intentional goals for 2024. Make sure those goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timely, so that those goals are more likely to be achieved in 2024. If you're somebody that struggles when it comes to saving money, maybe you can set yourself a financial goal of saving £1,200 by the end of 2024 by saving £100 every single month. If you're somebody that only pays the minimum payment when it comes to clearing debt, maybe you want to set yourself the challenge of paying more than the minimum debt repayment to at least one of those creditors. When setting those goals for 2024, you want to make sure that you set yourself some short, medium and long-term goals as well. Maybe a short-term goal might be to open an investment account, and a medium-term goal might be save that £1,200 by the end of the year, and then a long-term goal might be start saving money towards a deposit for your first property. Maybe save £1,200 towards that property for 2024. Setting yourself a variety of short, medium and long-term goals means that you're always having something that you're working towards in 2024, but you've set yourself some small enough goals that you can achieve some kind of success early on in the new year to keep that morale and motivation going to continue to pursue those bigger goals later on in the year. Another thing you want to do when it comes to financially resetting for 2024 is to boost that emergency fund. If your emergency fund is fully funded for 3 to 6 months, you can skip right over this point, and that's fantastic. But if you're somebody that doesn't have an emergency fund in place and your credit card is your emergency fund, challenge yourself to work towards building an emergency fund in 2024 so that you're not always relying on somebody else's money, but actually you're taking that ownership and control of your finances for yourself. So an emergency fund can be anything from a starter emergency fund of, let's say, £1,000 all the way to a more sturdy and meaty emergency fund of 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. So if your monthly expenses every single month, let's say £3,000, then you want to save an emergency fund of anything between £9,000 and £18,000 so that you have enough to cover yourself in the event of an emergency for those 3 months. If you lost your job, for example, you'll be able to survive and pay your bills and still live the same kind of lifestyle for 3 months while trying to find a replacement role. But if you're somebody in a more senior position and you know that it's going to take a lot longer to find that job that's going to maintain your lifestyle, then actually you want to work towards having a 6-month to even 12-month emergency fund so that you can have that buffer when the worst happens and be able to maintain a certain level of lifestyle even in those emergency situations. Because once you have that emergency fund, an emergency suddenly becomes more of an inconvenience because you have that financial backing to help yourself out of that situation. So if you're somebody, like I said, that has never had an emergency fund, start small with what you have and grow from there. Maybe start by challenging yourself to build £100 emergency fund, then increase it to £500, then eventually £1,000, so that you have some kind of money stashed away to bail yourself out of any kind of financial situation, because that gives you that confidence when it comes to your money, to know that actually I've been able to resolve this myself without having to rely on anybody else's money. Another thing you might want to consider doing when it comes to resetting financially for 2024 is to start making overpayments on your debt. If you're somebody that carries a lot of high interest debt and you're only making the minimum payment or repayment to your different creditors, I challenge you, as we're entering into 2024, to start paying down more than the minimum payments, because that way you're going to save yourself a lot of money when it comes to interest charges to those different creditors. There's different methods that you can use when it comes to paying down the debt. You can use a debt snowball method or the debt avalanche method. The debt snowball method is essentially where you write down all your debts from the smallest amount to the largest amount, and you start paying the minimum payments on all of those debts, and any overpayment that you have available, put it to that smallest debt. Once that smallest debt is paid off, you then want to transfer those overpayments plus the minimum payment to the next debt on the list, and keep repeating that process until all those creditors are paid off. What ends up happening after 2 or 3 different creditors are paid off, you build up a lot of momentum, and then it starts to snowball. Hence the name of the method, the snowball method. The avalanche method, however, is going to save you a lot more money in interest, but it might not be the best when it comes to motivation and morale. And the reason for this is the avalanche method is you're writing down your list of creditors in order of the highest interest debt all the way down to the lowest interest debt, and you're making the maximum payment to the highest interest debt and minimum payments to all the rest until the highest interest debt is paid off. And you repeat that process of paying all the overpayments to the next one on the list and then the next one on the list until you've paid them all off. And that method, like I said, saves you most money, but that one isn't the most motivating. And the reason for that is, for example, your highest interest debt may also be the largest amount of debt you have. So it might be a £15,000 bill, for example. That bill is going to take you a while to pay off, and motivation can quickly dwindle when you're making these payments on a monthly basis and you're only seeing the balance go down a little bit, and it just feels like you're never going to pay it off. Plus you have all these other creditors to pay off, and a lot of times people tend to fall off and not continue making those overpayments because they're not seeing the fruits of their labor fast enough. Whereas with the snowball effects, you get those quick wins, and it gives you that motivation and boost that you need to keep going with those debt overpayments. So avalanche or snowball, whatever debt method you decide, just choose one of them and start making those overpayments, because this time next year you're going to be so glad that you made that decision to overpay your debt. Automation, automation, automation. If you're somebody at the moment, when it comes to your finances, you're spending hours every single month getting your finances sorted, paying all your different bills, paying down any debt you have, making deposits to your savings account, etc. You really want to simplify that process as much as you can as you're entering into 2024. Set it and forget it is the name of the game when it comes to a lot of things personal finance. The more automation you apply to your finances, the more likely it is that you're going to achieve the results that you want when it comes to your financial goals for 2024. So if you have a savings goal, for example, like the one I mentioned earlier, saving £100 every month towards your emergency fund, make that an automatic thing. Automate it as a standing order, £100 to go into a certain account every single month. That way it's done automatically without you having to make that decision to pay that money into a different account. You also, on that topic, want to make sure you have separate accounts open as well. Don't have all your money in the one account and tell yourself in your head that some of it is dedicated to savings, because the reality is when you want to buy something, that money is going to get spent. Put that money in a separate account, set up the automation, set it and forget it, and you're more likely to see the results you want to see this time next year. Doing this is going to make saving, investing, paying down debt, anything you want to do with your finances, a simple habit to achieve. Another thing you want to do when resetting financially for the new year is review all your insurances. Are you on the right home insurance, life insurance, private healthcare, all the different insurances that you have that make up you and make up your family dynamics? Now's the time to sit down and reflect and ensure that they still apply to your current situation and circumstances. Earlier this year, we updated our income protection insurance as our incomes change. So that's something that we've already had to do this year financially. When it comes to your finances, look at all the insurance covers you have and make sure you are on the best plan for your money, and make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck as well. Now's the time to look at other suppliers and brokers and getting better deals for yourself and for your family moving into 2024. Me, for example, I had another baby this year, so that's another child that I need to add add to my insurance premium. So definitely just look at your insurances and make sure they are still valid and relevant to your family setup in 2024. It was one of your goals for 2023 to start investing, and we're now at the end of 2023 and it hasn't happened. Maybe set that as a goal for yourself for 2024 to learn how to invest. What are the different investing options available to me, and which ones do I want to start learning about in 2024? For me personally, I use my stocks and shares ISA to invest in index funds, but that might not be for you. You might want to invest in properties, you might want to invest in bonds, you might want to invest in single stocks. There's so much different investing options out there for you to make sure you're maximizing your money and getting the best ROI. But the reality is you're not going to know about that unless you look into it and research it and learn about the different investing options that are available. Yes, you can watch videos like this. There's also many great YouTube channels that talk a lot more about investing. There's also great books that you can read, podcasts you can listen to. So maybe set that as a challenge for yourself as you're entering into 2024 to learn more about investing. What investing options are available? What is my appetite to risk? That's going to determine what investing options you go with. Commit to learning more about investing so that you can learn to get your money working for you in 2024, and you'll be so happy that you committed to learning this time next year. Another great way to financially reset as 2023 is coming to a close and we're entering into the new year is to start teaching your children about money. Children from as young as age 3, 4, 5 can start learning about money. They can start learning about budgeting. You might think they're too young to learn, but actually you'll be surprised at how much they're able to pick up just by you sharing little nuggets with them. So as the year draws to a close, commit to sharing age-appropriate money lessons with your children, teaching children the concept of money, that actually you can't just have everything you want when you want it. Things cost money and it takes time to acquire money, and you can't just have everything you want just because you've asked for it. Maybe if they pick up 3 items in the toy store, telling them that they can have one now and have another one at a later date. Those little lessons are going to teach them so much in the future about money and delayed gratification. So definitely as the year draws to a close, start thinking about, how am I going to teach my children about money in 2024? What little nuggets, what little teachable moments can I take to teach them the concept of money and the concept of delayed gratification? Doing that now is going to put you in good standing in 2024 to ensure you're raising financially savvy children. Another great way to teach financial literacy to children at a young age is to incorporate them into budgeting. So when you're going food shopping and the children want to pick up everything in the grocery store, just having those little conversations with them, showing them the different prices of similar items, they can start to grasp an understanding of the fact that different things cost different prices, and actually you can shop around to get the best price for certain items, and you don't just go for the first item you see just because that's the item you're after. You can actually shop smart to ensure you get the best bang for your buck. Another thing you want to do to financially reset as you're entering into 2024 is to consider your budget and reallocating that budget for 2024. So have you got a holiday goal that you're saving for? Do you want to possibly buy a new car? What is it that you're budgeting for in 2024, and how are you going to reallocate your finances to ensure that you achieve those goals that you've set yourself? As the year is drawing to a close, consider allocating pots of cash, different financial goals. Sinking funds are great for this because a sinking fund essentially is a pot of cash which you save towards a specific goal. So you can have a sinking fund for that holiday which we just mentioned, or you can have a sinking fund for that new car that you want to purchase, or maybe a course that you want to take, have a separate sinking fund for that too. Basically just look at your budget, look at how you're allocating your money as 2024 dawns, and make sure the budget aligns to those goals that you set yourself. So the final tip that I'm going to share in this video when it comes to ways to reset financially for 2024 is to look and consider different ways to increase your income in the new year. Yes, we can budget, yes, we can cut back, yes, we can make savings, but the reality is you're going to go further faster if you increase your income. So what can you do differently in 2024 to make sure you're earning more? That's something you can take these last few days of 2023 to consider, and as we're entering into the new year, start really thinking about, what am I going to do to get my money up in 2024? That's something I've been considering a lot as the year is drawing to a close, and it's something I'm going to be exploring a lot more on my channel in 2024. So if you're not yet subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button, because there's going to be a lot more content around side hustling in the new year. So those are just 10 different tips of ways that you can reset financially for the new year. I do have a part 2 of this video where I share 10 more tips to help you reset financially for 2024. But if you made it this far in the video and you haven't yet given it a thumbs up, then you know exactly what you need to do right here. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Share this video with a friend friend or family member, tell a friend to tell a friend, and I will see you on my next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.